Okay guys, I think this is our last video. We're gonna talk about words and phrases from another language and also abbreviations over here. There it is. So, when reading academic texts, you may meet words and phrases from other languages, usually Latin, German, or French. They are generally used because there is no exact English equivalent, and they are often printed in italics. While the basic tripartite division of the theory into jus ad bellum, jus in bello, and jus post bellum, and the criteria related to each. Okay, these three words mean reason for going to war, laws of warfare, and rules for post-war. You're not expected to use these phrases in your own writing, but it is useful to understand them when you read. They may be found in a dictionary, but some of the more common are listed below. So, you're not expected to use them, but if I found one of these, you'll get extra points. I'm telling you. If you ever get to use this, I give you my permission to brag about it. Okay? So, we've got Latin, French, and German. Latin, ad hoc, de facto, de jure, inter alia, in vitro, and pro rata. Okay? Which mean unplanned, as it really is, according to law, among others, studies conducted on isolated organs in biology, and proportional, respectively. Okay? So, I know there's Santiago Fares speaks French and Sonia speaks German, so I'm not gonna even try reading this. I'm gonna use Google Translate for the pronunciation. Okay, I'm gonna use this so he can read for me.
À propos, Ancien Régime, coup d'État. Fait accompli, raison d'être, point.
And okay, and these are the German words you may find in academic texts.
Bildungsroman, Mitteleuropa, Realpolitik. Zeitgeist.
Okay, I cheated, I know. Okay, so continuing with words and phrases from other languages. I think the most common are the Greek and Latin abbreviations and words, okay, and also like the prefixes. These are so useful to understand words in English. Like if you see semi attached to another word, for example, this is a stupid example, but like semi-detached, like the houses in England, like you know that it's only half detached. We've got uni, we got duo, bi, that means two, tri or tris, that means three, quadri, tetra, which means four, penta means six, hexa means, penta means five, hexa means six. Okay, you got the rest of the numbers over here. We also got add, towards, ambi, both, like ambidextrous, endo, within, extra, in addition to, exo, outside, hyper, which means over, hypo, under, like hyperactive and hypoactive, okay, or hypothyroidism. Infra, below, inter, between, intro, within, iso, equal, liver, free. We got macro, micro, mono, multi, omni, proto, poly, tele, and trans. Okay, very useful. It is very useful to know about these prefixes. and this is going to be on the test, so study. There is also words and phrases from, like expressions from Latin that you may see from time to time. This is per se. The direct translation of this term is by itself, and it means just that when used in English as well, you could use it to say that you don't find chemistry boring per se by itself intrinsically. But this professor's voice puts you to sleep. Hope that isn't the case with my subject. We've got quasi. In Latin, this word means as if or as though, and in English, it is used as both an adjective in its own right and as a part of a compound word. It simply designates something that resembles something else but doesn't quite have all the same features. Okay? Let me think of an example. Like quasi-professional, like professional but not quite. Verbatim. If you repeat something verbatim, you repeat in exactly the same words for word for word with no changes and in no improvisation. We got status quo. In all fairness, this is also used in Spanish a lot. From the Latin meaning the state in which, this term is used today to designate the existing state or condition of things. For example, if you're making money off of a high pollution industry, it is to your interest to maintain the status quo when it comes to environmental law. Now we got a priori or a priori. You may come across this term in classes about logic or reasoning. It means that taking a general law or idea and applying it to a particular instance without needing experimentation or observation. An example of an a priori statement that is used is, all bachelors are single. You do not need to observe this to see that it is true because by definition bachelors must be single. We also got a posteriori or a posteriori. A posteriori means it refers to arguments in which you need to observe something. They are based on actual observation or experimentation. Continuing on the previous example, an a posteriori example of reasoning might be that some bachelors are happy. This can be based on real-life observation. Isn't given based on what a bachelor is. It's not related to the actual concept of bachelor. Okay, you need to experiment or see this at least. Now, we've got words and phrases from another language. A few more examples. De facto, from the fact. Ergo, simply put. Ergo means therefore. So instead of using therefore, this is your extra point, people. You can use ergo. Id est, it means, in Latin, it means that is. It is abbreviated to I. Okay. You'll often see this, exempli gratia. I want to see this in your papers, people. It actually means, for example, but in English we don't abbreviate this. We don't, when we want to abbreviate, for example, if we don't want to write, for example, we just write eg. Okay, and we're gonna talk about it in a second. Okay, so abbreviations. While all academic subjects have their own abbreviations, there are certain abbreviations common to all types of academic writing. Here is a list. A known as ASAP, as soon as possible. C, which means circa, in dates or about, like in paintings or like sculptures, that sort of thing. You see that a lot. You see like a Roman statue and it says circa, I don't know, 100 AD, which is Annus Domini, which is after Christ. CF, compare ED, editor, edition, EG, for example, there you have exempli gratia et al. These you're going to use in your citations, which means that, sorry, it's not, how do you say this? Not an extra point. Now, K, which means 1,000, and B, take careful note, and D, no date. This is what you use when you don't have a date for your citations, people. Opus citation, obsit, in the source mentioned previously. PA, yearly or per annum. The PP is pages. PS, postscript. Re, with reference to, and VS, verses. Okay. Oh, I wrote last one here, but no. Haha. These should have been in the previous section. I don't know why this came here. Circa. Circa was here. Circa. Circa, which translates as around or approximately, usually appears with dates. You may see it in abbreviations such as C or CA, or more rarely as CCA or CRA, CIR. It indicates that a number or value is approximate, not exact. For example, you might see sentences like the construction of Stonehenge began circa 3000 before Christ, BCE. More rarely, you may see this in reference to measurements of amounts such as circa $45,000. Okay, so this is the big three in abbreviations, etc. The abbreviation etc. stands for etc., which translates literally as and others or and the rest. A more useful translation can be substituted for etc., especially when reading aloud. And is and so on. It is used at the end of a list to indicate that there are more elements to the list that are being left out so that the list doesn't become too long. For example, all of the objects in our solar system, planets, comets, etc., orbit the sun. And then we have exempli gratia, e.g., and i.e., which meant it est. These are the two most often misused and confused Latin abbreviations, people. And for a good reason. In a given sentence, it's often not immediately clear how IE and EG are different. But we're going to talk about that. The abbreviation EG stands for exempli gratia, which translates literally as for the sake of an example. But you can really just cut out the stuff in the middle and read it as for example. It is used to give an example or set of examples to help clarify the preceding idea. In general, if you use EG, you should provide one or two short examples. The abbreviation IE stands for it est, which literally translates as that is. Sometimes it might be more useful, however, to translate it as what that means is, or that is to say. This abbreviation is used to clarify the preceding idea by restating it more simply or in different terms. Strictly speaking, what follows IE in parentheses should be equivalent to that what comes before. You should be able to switch them without changing the meaning of the sentence. The rocky planets, i.e. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Okay, that is the end of this video. Goodbye.